differences. Why do different job have different wages? It's again common sense. If you have a more risky job, it required more wages.
Like drug dealers.
Okay. Look, different abilities and the qualification. Let's follow your book. Okay. Different abilities and the qualification. When the job requires more skills and the qualification, of course, it will pay you high. Common sense. Risk involved in the job, as you already discussed. If more risk involved, more return will be involved. Okay, unsociable hours. Job that require night shift, it will pay you more. Okay. Labor immobility. Mobility is something that you can shift from one place to another. Immobility, you cannot shift. The easy with which worker can move between the different occupation in the areas of an economy is called labor mobility. If the labor mobility is high, worker can move to the job with a higher pay. Labor immobility causes people to work at a low wage rate because they don't have the skills or the opportunities to move to the job with a higher wage. If you don't have a high skills, you will be paid less. The next is fringe benefits. Job which can offer incentive, something extra, commissions, it will attract more skillful labor. Is it making some sense? Okay. Now, why do the other one is regional difference in the labor and the demand and the supply. For example, if the demand in the area of accountants is very high, the wage rate of accountant will be high. Common sense. Whereas in an area of the low demand for accountants, the wage rate of the accountant will be low. Similarly, the high supply of accountant will cause their wages to be low, while the low supply of the accountants will cause their wage to be high. It's a law of demand and supply. Is it making some sense? Look, Charis, look at. For example, you are living in an area where there is a job of accountant, where you can say company is required or company is hiring accountants. Okay, if you have few accountants in your city, their demand will be high. Company will pay you more. For example, this is a one situation where people will demand, company will demand more. And if you are living in an area where in every home you have an accountant, they will not pay you more, they will pay you less. Then fringe benefits. Some firms which pay a lot of fringe benefits will pay less wages, while firms in the same industry which pay lesser fringe benefits will have a higher wages. Again, depends on the situation. Discrimination. Workers doing the same work may be discriminated by gender, race, religion or age. Is that so? Length of service. Some firms provide extra pay for the workers who work in the firm for a long time. Government labor policies. Wages will be fair in an economy where the government has set a minimum wage policy. The government corporate tax policies can also influence the amount of wages will be willing to pay out. What are the other wages differences? Public private sector pay gap. Public sector jobs usually have a high wage rate. On the other hand, private sector sometimes have a low wage rate, but sometimes it has a higher wage rate. Economic sector. If you are living in an economy where the economy on its peak by industrialization, you will be paid high, and if it is based on the agriculture, you will be paid less. Skillful and unskilled worker. If you are a skillful worker, you will get higher. If you are unskillful worker, you will be paid less. Gender pay gap. If you are a young, sometimes you get higher income, and sometimes if you are, like for example, if you become older, At the moment, it's depend on the job. Sometimes age can give you more benefits, like you have a plenty of experience. If you are in the age of 60, at the moment you are not in a growing process, but you are at the stage of like a glow stage. Okay, so depends on the job, nature of the job. You will paid according. If you are doing some kind of a physical job, and if you are in the age of 60, you will be paid less. But if you are having some kind of non-physical job like a mental job, and if you have a huge kind of experience, you will be paid accordingly. Then international wage differences. Developed countries usually have a high wage rate due to the high income, and economy with a lower process wage rate will be low due to the large supply unskilled labor.